Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's episode, I get a lot of questions like with DMs, but I also put on my story on Instagram for people to ask me questions and then I would answer them. So I have 6 questions right now that we are going to go through. I will put each question on the screen in the video so you know what question I'm answering. So the first question is, why did I choose to compete in bikini? So I think that this is an important question because you don't really always get to choose which division you fit into. Yes, you can build and go into different divisions, but a lot of different things kind of help determine which division you're going to fit best into. So for me specifically, I have always just kind of had more of a balanced shape to me. So I naturally have broad shoulders, and that is something to my benefit with bikini. And I also naturally have wide hips, which again is benefiting for bikini. The one thing that is not beneficial is I have a very short torso and a very boxy torso. But with posing, you can kind of hide that and make it look like you have a smaller waist. So I also think I chose wanting to do bikini. My kitten is crying. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right. He was crying. So I think I also did want to compete in bikini because I think it's so pretty. You get to do all the glitz and the glam, and you do for like wellness and fit model as well. But it's all the glitz and the glam, and like they judge your makeup, they judge your hair. You get to have the sparkly bikini. Um, so I thought bikini was pretty, but also with like the training split, um, doing wellness is probably, I'm going to say this now, and yeah, of course that can change, is probably something I'm not going to want to transition into at some point because wellness is a lot of training legs, and I don't love leg day. And that's okay because with bikini you get to do upper and lower because like you got to grow your shoulders, but you also need to make sure like your biceps and triceps and back, like so you can keep that balanced look. You don't want to grow anything too quick because then you're not proportional, and bikini is very proportional. So I can do like 2 leg days a week and heavy on the glute focus, and it's okay. But I think it's important to talk about the fact that you don't always get to choose. So like I was saying, yeah, you can grow into other ones, and I can grow into wellness if I grow my legs. I don't want to. To be honest, I don't really want to. And a big thing is like when you start to cut, you kind of start to see the amount of muscle you have underneath. And the amount of muscle I already had underneath when I started cutting fit me into bikini really well. So that's kind of why I chose bikini. All right, next question. Why did I choose the federation I compete in? So I compete in OCB, and OCB is all natural, 100%, drug tested. They polygraph every athlete before you're even allowed to go to show day. Like they polygraph you the Friday before for a Saturday show. And if you win pro card, the process after I got the pro card, like they are very strict on it. It was if you are holding like the guy backstage with the clipboard was like, if you are holding a pro card stepping off stage, you do not leave my sight until you are in the bathroom getting your drug test. If you leave my sight, you no longer have a pro card. Like they are very strict on the drug testing, and I was like, look. So I'm holding my all my stuff walking off stage, and I look at him and I go, I need to take my heels off, please. And he's like, you can take them off. I just got to watch everything you do. So I handed all my stuff to my husband because he was backstage with me, And then like he stood there with his clipboard. He watched me take my heels off. I didn't touch anything else. And then we're walking out to go to the bathroom, and it was like my family was already out there, and they were literally like, don't touch her, like you can't touch her, don't do anything, she has to go to the bathroom. And I did. I went to the bathroom. I peed in a cup. I wasn't allowed to wash my hands yet or anything, and it's very strict. And I appreciate it being strict because I plan to remain a natural athlete. And I just want to talk about that for a second. That isn't part of the question, but this is something I feel very passionate about. And before you think you know where I'm going, you don't. I promise. I do not think being natural or enhanced is better. I do not think that if you are a natural athlete, you are more committed. I do not think if you are an enhanced athlete, you are more committed. I think it boils down to personal choice, and that's it. If someone wants to be enhanced, I go to a gym where a lot of people are enhanced. That's fine. Why would I care that they're enhanced? That's crazy to me that people get so mad about that and think that being natural makes you better. On the flip side, why would any of them get mad that I'm choosing to stay natural? It doesn't affect them. Why do we get so upset about things that don't actually directly affect us? There's my little rant. But, anyways, I choose to stay natural because I want to. I want to see how far I can get being natural. And within OCB, it's all natural. Um, and there are a lot of very impressive athletes in OCB, a lot of very impressive ones. I do think that either next year or the year after, I'm going to do an NPC natural show and just kind of see how I stack up against other NPC natural athletes. I've heard a lot of mixed things online. I don't really like to talk about rumors. I like to talk about my personal experiences, and I haven't personally done one. So I don't know how the process goes for that one. I do think they polygraph. Again, I don't know for sure, but NPC, if you were doing just a normal NPC show and you're natural, you can still do that. You don't have to do OCB at all. Um, but there may be some enhanced athletes that you're up against, and if you want to do it that way, do it that way. Nobody's stopping you. It's your life. It's your choice. You do what you want to do. Another big thing with OCB is the structure of show day. I love the structure so much more. I have a tendency to have little bursts of energy and then crash, and I also have a very low social battery. Fun fact about me, I'm actually very introverted, more of like an extroverted introvert. And the structure for show day with OCB is all of the men go in the morning and then the women go in the afternoon. So women start like around 1 or 2 and you're done by like 4. So short. So they do prejudging, individual routines, and awards, and the men and women are separate. So all the men go in the morning and then the women go in the afternoon. And I think that they do the individual routines before awards because that's kind of so the individual routines are not judged. So that's kind of like a time frame for the judges to catch up on their tallying and stuff and make sure that they get it all by award time. So I honestly think that that is part of the reason why they do that. But that's why I have so far competed in OCB. I plan next year to compete again in OCB. I will do a OCB Pro show next summer sometime, looking at potentially Conquer. I don't know. I think my plan for my next cut is to just kind of start a cut and then slowly cut and not have a show date in mind and just kind of like allow my body time to get ready. And then when we start getting to the point where it's like, hey, you could be ready in 4 6 weeks, start seeing if there's a show, or just have some in the back of my mind, like as options. And then it's not like this really strict deadline. It can be a lot more relaxed for a prep. And I think that that's just going to work better for me. That's how my first prep was. And I do think that that part was a little bit easier. But next year I'll do a pro show, and I really want to go to Yorton. So then potentially in 2028 might be the year that I dabble into NPC. And there are other federations. There's like other natural ones. Also, I'm not as well versed in those. The coach that I had is an OCB athlete, so that's part of the reason that I kind of went into OCB. All right, the next question. How long are you staying in a deficit versus maintaining? Any issues with cycle? So my first deficit was 8 months, and then I took a 2 month recovery break, and then I went back into a deficit for 9 weeks. That was my experience. A typical bodybuilder cycle is something closer to like a 16 to 20 week deficit, hopefully followed by at least 6 months of reaching maintenance and staying there. For me personally, I'm still working on building my calories up as part of my reverse to get to maintenance. And after I get to maintenance, because it is lower after being in a cut, when I find my maintenance, my new maintenance, then I'm going to slowly start adding on top of that and see if I can push my maintenance higher. And with that, it'll make it easier for the next cut. So for me personally, I will be in a maintenance for at minimum 6 months before starting another cut. I want to give my body enough time to recover, and if it doesn't still feel like it's fully recovered, then we won't start a cut yet. I want to be in this for the long term. The stage isn't going anywhere. As far as issues with my cycle, so in my first prep, I did have some issues. So my period started getting lighter, probably 3 months out, and they started getting shorter together. So a typical cycle for me is somewhere between like 27 and 30 days. And they started getting down into like the 24, 22, 20 days. And then I actually missed my period I was supposed to start on my March 21st show. That was my predicted start date, and I just completely missed it. So then I had like a 50-day cycle with that. And then the one after that was 35 days. And then after that, it kind of went back to normal. And then for this last show, I didn't lose my period at all. I actually had my period. I started my period the Thursday before peak week. I believe it was Thursday. It was Wednesday or Thursday before peak week. So I was on my period for peak week, which is crazy. But it all lined up really well because I was off my period and everything by show day. Some girls do get their period on show day. Um, so that's why like packing tampons and stuff like that just in case is a good idea. But I personally didn't have any crazy interruptions with my period, thankfully. So I still stayed relatively healthy for this last prep at least. All right, someone asked what my training split is for the off season. So my new training split for my improvement season is going to be 3 days consecutive of training, followed by 3 consecutive days of rest. My reasoning for doing that is as a paramedic working a 48-hour shift, we have 2 days we work, followed by 4 days we are off. Trying to squeeze in an exercise on the first day off when I might only be able to train at like 30% intensity is not worth it. It's not. Recovery is equally, if not more important than training at times. And coming off of a 48 where I don't get a lot of sleep, like I got off work yesterday morning and I didn't get much sleep. So trying to force myself into training, which I have done, it's not that I don't want to. It's just I realized the quality of that lift is not beneficial. It is prolonging my ability to recover after working on the ambulance. So that's why I'm doing 3 days consecutive training, followed by 3 consecutive days of rest. My first day of training, I built my own program. My first day of training is glutes and shoulders. My second day of training is a full upper body day. My third day of training is a full lower body day with glute emphasis. And on the upper body day, it's shoulder emphasis, but still hitting every major muscle group. And if that doesn't work, I'll change it, but I need to give it time to see if that is working or not. And for those lifts, I'm pushing really hard. And since I'm giving myself more rest time, I can recover better and actually push harder. All right, next question. Someone asked for some different proteins, carbs, and fats for on the go, snacks for prep, like on an ambulance if you're a busy parent, stuff like that. So I've got a list that I'm going to kind of read from of some things. So actually, let's backtrack. Let's talk about what I eat. So I love rice cakes. I love my Drizzleicious. Some really easy things is like ham, cheese, hard-boiled eggs. What are some other things I like? Protein bars, protein shakes. For all of my snacks, I build it around the three macro groups and make sure that it's pretty balanced. So I won't just eat a rice cake or just eat a banana. I would eat a rice cake with also like my lunch meat, or a rice cake with my hard boiled egg, or eat my lunch meat, hard boiled egg, cheese. That's a pretty good balance. Maybe then also eat a rice cake or a protein bar. That's a good split between the three macros. If I have a protein shake, I'll also make sure that I have carbs or fat with it. It's important to just kind of build some on the go snacks around the three groups. You're not going to find a lot of things that are easy on the go that have a good balance. So you have to think about easy on the go things for each one of those three macros and kind of build them together. So now we can look at my list. All right. So with protein and carbs, you've got yogurt and fruit. That's a good one. Cottage cheese with fruit or not with fruit. If you don't like putting fruit on your cottage cheese, you can eat cottage cheese and also eat fruit. They don't have to be together. None of these things have to be like in a bowl together. You can do the little like bento box style and just have all of those things. Think about like these kind of snacks as if you were giving them to like a toddler, because it feels like you're eating a toddler in prep. I'm not gonna lie. So protein shake and banana, built puff bar and apple, beef jerky and grapes. That's a good one. String cheese apple, pretzel thins with like a turkey roll up, tuna packet and crackers. That's a really easy one on the go. Hard boiled eggs and fruit. A portion of trail mix with like a protein shake. Hummus, carrots, and pretzel. Greek yogurt and granola. Peanut butter packet and banana. Overnight oats. A protein muffin and yogurt. Homemade protein balls. And here are some more shelf-stable options. So tuna or chicken packets, beef jerky, roasted chickpeas or edamame, protein bars, individual packaged peanut butter packets, or the little tiny like Jif cups, applesauce, rice cake, whole grain crackers, mixed nuts, and protein shakes that are pre-packaged until they're opened. They're pretty shelf stable. They don't have to stay refrigerated. So instead of asking like what's a healthy snack, think how can I get 15 to 30 grams of protein and also pair it with like a carbs, and if you need fat, with a fat. And then for like first responders specifically, because it was a fellow first responder that asked this question, look for snacks that don't melt easily. So if I'm doing a protein bar or something, I will make sure it's not a chocolate protein bar. The built puff bars, I'll do one of like the sour style. My Misfit protein bars are chocolate, so I'll make sure that they are touching my ice pack because I don't want them to melt. And also looking for snacks that can be eaten quickly. So a banana can be eaten quickly, a single rice cake can be eaten pretty quickly, because there have been times where I've had to break up like snacks that I was planning on pairing together because we are on our way to a call and I'm like, I have to eat something. So I'll hurry up and eat a banana because we're like 5-10 minutes away from the call, so I can hurry up and eat the banana. and then finish the rest of my snack after we get to the hospital on our way back to the station. Also things that don't require utensils, because trying to use utensils on the go is not as easy. You don't want to be leaving your hands greasy. A trick for that is you can throw on a pair of disposable gloves. Kind of gross, but it works. And another thing is you want to make sure that whatever you're eating won't upset your stomach if you are on your way to a call or you get a call in the middle of eating it. So hopefully that kind of helped. All right, last question. What is Horizon? Are you coaching now? I'm so glad someone asked this. Okay, so Horizon is essentially my vision. So it is spelled Arizyn, and it's pronounced Horizon. It means arise and rise. It's a combination of those two words. I created the word. It didn't exist before I created it. And essentially in life, problems arise, but so do opportunities. And we can choose to rise above the problems or rise to the opportunities. But there's more with that. So for me personally, I was a gymnastics coach before I was a paramedic, and I absolutely loved coaching. I love helping people, and that is why I'm a paramedic, is because I enjoy helping people. But also, ever since working as a paramedic, I didn't feel completely fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was serving my full purpose in life. And I was just kind of waiting for the universe to pull me back into something. I debated going back into coaching gymnastics for a while, and I'm really glad that I didn't. Instead, I really just dove headfirst into health and nutrition, which has been one of my major topics of interest for the last decade. And I've spent a lot of time learning, researching. I got the certified nutrition coach with NASM, and I flew through that course. I learned a couple things, but I realized I actually do know a lot. And I'm working on the CPT now. And with all of that said, Horizon is mindset coaching through fitness and nutrition. It is not supposed to be only for the person who is like who already consistently like tracks their macros, hits the gym and all that stuff. We absolutely will accept those clients, because I would love working with someone who is currently further steps ahead than a typical person starting out, and then be able to help them really push and really grow. But Horizon is more for like the brand new person, or for somebody who has started over a million times, for someone who lacks the confidence, for someone who is sick of not trusting themselves. That's Horizon for all of those people and more. And it's going to be big. We already have some clients we're working on, and just seeing the mindset shifts with those clients is incredible. And I cannot wait to fully let you guys in on it. We are still working on a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I was trying to finish prep and show day. So there's a lot of like the business side of stuff, like the annoying stuff that you kind of have to do. So we're still working out those kinks before we fully open it up to just accepting a lot more clients. But we have been working with clients, a couple for almost a year, and they were more or less our guinea pigs so we can work out some other things. And since I've switched the style of coaching that I'm doing, it's been really cool to see. I recently just had a client who is in a tough financial situation, and she was saying it's going to be challenging to pay at the moment. And I 100% respect her being forthcoming and sharing and trusting me enough to share all of that with me. And her question was, can I keep doing everything I've been doing just without you essentially watching me do it? And I'm like, what? That's incredible. This is a client who struggled with believing that she could consistently meal prep, consistently track, consistently train, all of those things. And she's like, hey, so I've built these habits and I actually trust myself a lot now, and I didn't trust myself at all. So is it okay if I keep doing all of these things without your help? Yes. Oh my God, yes. Of course I want to keep helping you. That is incredible that you are so quickly at a point to where you believe in yourself enough to know that you can do it without the accountability. That's what I want. I want to help people build long-term sustainable habits through simple daily choices. And through those simple choices, those simple habits, those patterns that we build, you eventually trust yourself, and then you become that version of yourself that you want to. I'm so excited. But with Horizon, it's really going to be me holding your hand with my husband's assistance. He's also a part of the team. But me holding your hand, helping you believe in yourself until we together have built enough evidence that you are someone that you can trust. And then when you get to that point, you're gonna know. It's really cool. I'm pulling from a lot of my personal experience, and I'll probably make another video talking about Horizon a lot more in depth. But those are the questions that I had. Here are all of my answers for them. I would love to do a video reading your embarrassing gym stories, because I have some, and I know you have some. If you have any, DM me on Instagram at kaelamarie.fit or email me at kayla@horizon, ARIZYN.net with your story. I won't share your name with the story unless you want me to, but I'm hoping to have enough stories to put that one together within the next couple weeks. So make sure to send them. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and don't forget, you are built to rise.